Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the TZ Book Reviews podcast. I'm Jessica, and as always, I'm joined by my insightful co host, Brian. Today, we're diving into a book that's essential for anyone interested in leadership and effective communication. It's Kim Scott's Radical Candor. It's a book that's taken the leadership world by storm, with its unique blend of caring personally while challenging directly. Brian, what were your initial thoughts when you went through this book?
Hey, Jessica. This book truly reshaped my understanding of workplace dynamics. What struck me immediately was Scott's proposition of giving critical feedback without coming off as abrasive. It's a concept that seems simple, but when you drill down, it's pretty revolutionary in practice.
Absolutely. I think the whole premise that you can care personally and challenge directly is quite transformative for how we interact in professional environments. Scott's concepts challenge conventional leadership tactics by encouraging openness and sincerity.
Exactly, Jessica. It's the framework she presents that's so powerful. That would be her four-quadrant model. What's fascinating is its simplicity. It lays out radical candor in one quadrant, which is the sweet spot, and juxtaposes it with obnoxious aggression, ruinous empathy, and manipulative insincerity. Each quadrant represents different ways we might deliver feedback, and it helps in recognizing where we're falling short.
It's like holding up a mirror to ourselves, right? For me, the surprise was realizing how easily we can sway into areas like ruinous empathy. It's out of care too, but when we shy away from honest feedback to spare feelings, we're not really helping, are we?
Yeah, that point about ruinous empathy was eye-opening. It makes you realize the disservice we do when we protect others from the truth by sugarcoating it. By not challenging directly, we actually hinder their growth.
Speaking of growth, what do you think about the emphasis on building a culture of candor? There's something bold in saying that a workplace should cultivate open feedback in all directions.
I find that idea both refreshing and vital, Jessica. Scott pushes the envelope by advocating for environments where feedback isn't a landmine, but a foundation. It leads to growth and prevents small issues from snowballing.
It's also a call for leaders to become more self aware about their biases. I found that crucial. To understand how our unconscious biases shape our leadership style, that's deep work many might overlook.
True, and Scott doesn't stop at theory. She offers practical methods like the Get Stuff Done wheel to help translate those insights into action. It's like a how-to guide for efficient decision-making and collaboration.
The GSD wheel intrigued me. Those 7 steps you go through, from listening and debating to learning, form such an effective process for teams to move from talk to action.
And what's important is that each step emphasizes collective involvement and a thoughtful approach, focusing not on personal opinions, but coherent, data-informed decision-making.
Yes, and it's structured to ensure everyone on the team is not just on board, but fully engaged. Diverse views are gathered, debated, and cherished. It's an excellent way to uphold transparency and mutual respect.
Exactly, Jessica. For leaders, the lesson here is about creating that space for constructive disagreement. That's a game changer in workplace dynamics.
Definitely. Now, Brian, we can't leave out the rock stars versus superstars part. This concept might alter how we approach team building entirely.
Oh, I was waiting to bring that up. The way Scott differentiates rock stars, who excel steadily in their roles, from superstars who are hungry for new challenges, is thought provoking. It's vital for leaders to recognize and nurture both.
Right? The rock stars are the reliable pillars of your team, while the superstars are the meteors burning bright with ambition. Each needs a different form of acknowledgement and support.
Exactly, and appreciating this dual dynamic is what breeds balanced teams. Leaders can support rock stars by creating paths for expertise while providing superstars with opportunities for upward growth.
That rings true. And it's a nod to the importance of personalizing our approach to managing teams. Not everyone is driven by the same motivations, and understanding this can lead to more effective leadership.
Absolutely, and let's not forget the anecdotes Scott shares from her days at Google and Apple. These stories add tremendous value by showing how these principles can be applied practically across different organizations and contexts.
Right. The example where Sheryl Sandberg pointed out Scott's excessive use of during presentations underscores that direct feedback isn't unkind. It's a form of deep care.
Exactly, Jessica. And her experiences highlight that this isn't just a corporate theory, it's actionable advice, making real world impacts.
Which reminds me, Brian, what about the counterintuitive insights? Scott suggests we criticize the wins. That was unexpected.
Surprising but enlightening. It reminds us that growth doesn't halt with success. By offering constructive feedback even during the highs, we're cultivating continuous improvement.
Yes, it challenges us to stay vigilant and humble. Plus, Scott encourages leaders to be open to receiving critical feedback, almost making vulnerability a strength.
That's a crucial point. Vulnerability builds trust and authenticity. To lead effectively, embracing criticism and admitting one's faults fosters a more genuine work culture.
Such a powerful takeaway. It's not often that leaders are told to show vulnerability, but Scott makes a compelling case for it.
Jessica, I couldn't agree more. If there's anything listeners take from today's episode, it should be this profound blend of candor and care.
Indeed, Brian. Scott's radical candor shows us that real leadership moves beyond the superficial, creating a work culture where openness, trust, and accountability thrive.
And while some argue it may not fit all cultures or personalities, the core message remains invaluable. By genuinely caring and constructively challenging, we can lead our teams to success.
It's a treasure trove of insights. We've only scratched the surface today, but this book is a must-read for transforming how we engage with our work and one another.
Thank you, Jessica, for a deep and delightful discussion. And thanks to all our listeners today. If you're looking to upgrade your leadership game, this book is definitely one to add to your list.
Thank you, Brian. And to our audience, we'll catch you in our next episode. Till then, stay candid and keep growing.